What's up, everyone? Pre-game show starting in 8 minutes here on Clippers Talk. We're on AM 570 LA Sports, of course. Good to be with you. Clippers taking on the Houston Rockets. Second game of this two-game mini-series. This one is an in-season tournament contest. Emirates Cup action. Our first taste of it this year, now that it has a whole branding thing going on. Sophomore year of the NBA in-season tournament cup. Good to be with you guys, though. Coming up, we will have La Murray of The Athletic join the show. Carla Jimenez, of course, on the call. And pregame show starts in about 7 minutes here. Let me check my notes. What's up, y'all? 3 dozen, of course, is first again. Why does the title say it really says that? Why does it say that? I don't know why it says that. Why is it messing with me like that? Let me see if I can fix it this way. Clippers in Houston. NBA Cup match? Is it no longer a game because it's a cup thing? Let me know if that worked. I don't think it was just you. Yeah. Bilal said no. You're right. How about now? Check it now, guys. Check it now. Check it again. I just switched it. I just changed it, I think. I don't know. It hasn't been giving me the option on Restream. Restream's being a bad. Very bad. Does it still say it? Deca, since you were complaining about it, what does it say? Is it fixed? Does it work? Yep, it's fixed. Thank you. Appreciate it. I don't know why it was doing that. Seems like the format's always changing. Excited for this one. I just like these two-game miniseries, guys, because you get to see adjustments from two good coaches. And like Brian Seaman said selfishly, you don't have to prepare for another team. Keep the same notes. They're still playing Houston. Less prep work. Always good. Let's see what we got here. I'm doing good, 3 dozen. If you guys missed it earlier, I did kind of a deep dive regarding James Harden's outlier shooting going on in the second quarter, which is really strange. It is an unsolved mystery right now. His shooting percentage is 15%, I think, in second quarters. He's 7 of 44 in the second quarter from the floor. Why is that? And the entire Clippers starting lineup has been bad in second quarters. Even though it's been a plus in first quarters, then they come back, and in the second quarter, they're bad. Why? I don't know. But basically, if he fixes that, all of a sudden, all his efficiency numbers that are so down right now with James Harden, they're up.
But stay tuned to find out more.
Back in 2 minutes. Welcome into Clippers Countdown as your 6-6 LA Clippers remain in Houston for this Let's Play 2 Ernie Banks-like baseball series against the Rockets. And there's a little more at stake for this one as it's opening night, at least in group play of the NBA's in-season tournament for your LA Clippers. It's the Emirates NBA Cup, where you play 4 games in your group stage, 2 at home, 2 on the road. And remember, those games still count for your regular season record. And then the winner of each group moves on to the knockout round, plus 2 wild cards, where then things proceed like any other tournament with a quarterfinals and a semifinals that can ultimately vault you into a championship game in Vegas. Everybody got that? These Emirates Cup games also feature a different court design to help bring out a different feel to these contests. And hey, the Clippers could use any change of scenery they can get at the Toyota Center in Houston, where they lost 111 to 103 Wednesday night to the Rockets, where the Clippers were outworked by a young, athletic Houston team that won the rebounding battle by 17. Here was Coach Lou post game on some of those issues.
Some of our shot selection when we got into the paint, like they were big at the rim, and we kind of threw some shots up, missed some layups, and when we missed, they was out in transition, and we couldn't get back to get matched up. We did a good job tonight with our turnovers, but then they end up having 18 offensive rebounds. So just like I said, they had a good game plan. They played well. I thought our young guys came in down the stretch and really played well, so that was good to see. But we'll be better come whatever today is. I don't even know what today is, but we'll be better in 2 days. So our guys just got to see the blueprint, how they try to play us, and what they were trying to do, and just go from there.
Tip time between the Clippers and Rockets from Toyota Center today in Houston. It's Friday. For the first in-season tournament Emirates Cup game in Group A play for your Los Angeles Clippers, well, we're just about 57 minutes away. Coming up, Coach Lou will be here. And we'll have La Murray on. But up next, it's your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez as you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers still in Houston, taking on the Rockets tonight in the second game of this two-game mini-series. It's an Emirates Cup NBA game in this one. In-season tournament action for the Clippers. I'm Adam Oslin. This is Clippers Countdown. Still to come, you're going to hear from the head coach and Teron Loom. But first, we get out to your radio voice of the Clippers in Carlo Jimenez. Carlo, my guy, how we doing?
Adam, 2 thumbs up. We're good to be talking to you once again here in H-Town. Clippers and some NBA Cup action. What more could you want on a Friday night?
How about better rebounding? I want more of that.
You got it. So does Ty Lue. So glad you guys are on the same page.
So the Clippers did get beat up on the board. Something fierce, something we haven't really seen so far this season. It was an outlier game. We know that's a strength for the Houston Rockets. But what did you see in those 4 quarters where they actually won the rebounding battle, I think by 1 in the 4th quarter when they went small? It was unusual, but they got out rebounded with the Ivica Zubac out there playing big.
Yeah, look, Houston relies on offensive rebounding for their entire offense. This is a group that doesn't run a great offensive set when they aren't rebounding the basketball. They need to offensive rebound to have success, and that's what they did well in the last game. I think for the Clippers, it starts with getting to a body first. You can't allow the Rockets to meet you in the paint. Go meet someone as they're crashing to the paint. The Clippers have to play an extremely physical brand of basketball tonight if they want to change the tides on what happened last game. They need to be the aggressors coming into this ball game, especially on the glass. Adam, felt like the Rockets really pushed them around on the glass in that entire game on Wednesday.
Yeah, strange to see. Now, something we are accustomed to is them forgetting about Ivica Zubac sometimes. We saw it a lot the last couple of seasons with this squad, but Ivica Zubac has been more featured so far this season. But we talked about it early on in that game. Yes, they were hitting 3-pointers, but at some point, it feels like you got to get back to your bread and butter, which is high pick and roll with James Harden and Big Zoo. And when you are getting Ivica Zubac involved early and often, it seems to pay out late too.
Yeah, and Alfred Şengün is a good big Adam, but I think Ivica Zubac has the size and experience advantage over him, especially in the post. Şengün is not someone who likes to play back to the basket. He's more of this new age big man who's going to play on the outside. He wants to rip through from the post, but he doesn't really bang as much inside as somebody like Ivica Zubac, who likes to be a muscular presence in that red painted area. Although today the entire court is red, so I don't know what part the paint is and not the paint. But Ivica Zubac has to dominate. He has to dominate the entire floor, especially underneath the rim. As you talk about, Adam, Clippers got to get him involved early, because when they do get him involved early, there is a lot of success to be had with this Clipper team. It opens up the floor. Ivica Zubac then starts passing to guys in the corners, and all of a sudden the Clippers offense looks 2 times wider on the outside.
One big plus in that ball game was Chris Dunn injected into the starting lineup. Terrence Mann looked better off the bench. The starting lineup overall went plus 15 in their 17 minutes. That was impressive.
Yeah, it was. I think Terrence Mann, that's kind of the Terrence Mann we expected, Adam, coming into this season. Somebody who could score, somebody who could get on the glass, somebody who could be aggressive on the offensive end. And that's what he did. He was excellent, especially in that 3rd quarter. I think he had 9 of his points in quarter number 3 for the Clippers. Sometimes a change of scenery helps revitalize players. It's something Klay Thompson talked about this offseason when he chose to go to the Mavericks. And sometimes a change of roles can revitalize a player. And right now, I think the Clippers are betting on Terrence Mann having to shoot the ball with that second unit, because there's not as much offense being facilitated thanks to Chris Dunn, is going to propel him into success. They believe in Terrence Mann. They know what he's capable of. They want him to succeed at the highest level. And I think this move is best for the whole as this Clipper team. Chris Dunn can now help James Harden off the ball, and Terrence Mann does not have to worry about, hey, somebody better is open on the offensive end, I should pass it. No, you should go score the basketball, and that's what we saw last game.
It was cool to hear from Coach Lue post-game last game say, I got my guy back. That was the real Terrence Mann who was playing Wednesday night for the Clippers. Much more comfortable coming off the bench. A couple of guys who came deep off the bench, Jordan Miller, Kobe Brown, they played well late. They got their first real minutes this season. They made the most of them.
They really did. They really did. I think Jordan Miller is continuing, Adam, as he's done his entire Clipper career, to play his way into more conversations of maybe getting earlier time. Ty Lue didn't put him in at the end of the game. He put him in the 4th quarter, which tells me that he's a little closer to maybe playing than we thought he was. KPJ, obviously the quick fouls. He comes out of the ballgame, doesn't play much. I think the Clippers want him to be excellent, but the question is, can you play both guys? We've seen Kai Jones kind of come out of the lineup. That second group, I mean, really a ton of fluctuation. Nico Batum didn't even play the second half here in OKC. They are not set. There is no cement in that bench group. They are continuing to find new roles for new guys. And I think Bones, Jordan, even Kobe Brown at the small ball 5, which against a team like the Rockets could be really, really helpful, showed he could play.
Yeah, it's a fluid situation, as they say, and nobody's job is safe right now, and everybody could get an opportunity. I think Coach Lue, as we have seen so far this season, he's going to go with the hot hands. He's going to go with the guys who are playing well out there. Tip-off from Houston in an Emirates Cup game. This is the in-season tournament now. First game for the Clippers. They're taking on the Rockets once again. Tip-off again just about 50 minutes away. Carlo Jimenez is on the call, but coming up next, he's got his one-on-one conversation with the head coach, it's Tyronn Lue, right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in H-Town taking on the Rockets in an in-season tournament Emirates Cup ball game, their first of the season. They're in Group A. They will see the Houston Rockets 4 total times this year, and all these games are extremely consequential. So a big game tonight for the Clippers, not just because it's an Emirates Cup game, but also because of the implications coming out of this season where OKC is a pick swap with either the Clippers or the Houston Rockets. They will take whoever ends up having the better first-round pick, and then OKC will give them a worse first-round pick. Theirs, because they're going to finish very high in the standings, most likely. Tip-off is just about 48 minutes away from Toyota Center. Coming up next, we will go back in time in Clippers Rewind, but first, let's head back over to your radio voice of the Clippers in Carlo Jimenez.
Thanks so much, Adam. Here with head coach Tyronn Lue before the Clippers take on the Houston Rockets. Coach, a change in the starting lineup. You moved Chris to that starting group. How did you assess the first game, and how do you be patient when you're trying to assess this new group?
Yeah, I thought it was great. We got to a great start with KD at the point guard. I think we was up 11 points when he came out of the game. And then we took him out. That's when team went on a run, So they started the game putting their 5 on him to start the game, which most teams won't do. And so you'll see a better flow to the game, better rhythm after tonight's game.
Houston, in their past 7 games before Wednesday, had been shooting 28% from 3, and then they nearly shoot 40% on Wednesday. As a staff, how do you adjust but not overreact to their good shooting?
just our luck. You know, they would shoot 40%, but just who's making those shots and who's making those threes. And so you want to take Green, you want to take Van Fleet. You know, we don't want those guys shooting, taking, and making threes. But other guys, you know, we don't want to give their shots. We want to get to them and get a contest, a late contest, and then you live with the results.
Terrence Mann had a season high in points and rebounds. From a player perspective, how can a role change re-energize a guy?
Hopefully does a great job for him. You know, that was a team man that we're accustomed to, and just happy to see him get on track and play well the way he did. So we just got to continue that.
You got Jordan, Kobe, and Bones in that game late. They were able to cut it to 4 after giving up a little bit of a run. What did you like with that group, and why'd you stick with them down the stretch?
Just playing hard. I think attacking, making quick decisions, and then defensively, like competing. And our other guys are competing too, but I think bringing these guys, young guys in with fresh legs, you know, give them a different look they haven't seen. And like I said, those guys did a good job of coming back and cutting the lead to 4.
Last one for you, Coach. What do you have to do differently, 1 or 2 things, to change the outcome tonight?
2 things. All right, we got to rebound in basketball. We had 18 offensive rebounds, I think. And then we got to get back in transition. Like, we can't allow them to get out and get early dunks, early layups, get to the free throw line. So get back, get our defense set, and just make sure we're taking care of the basketball. But I think if we take away transition offense and take away offensive rebounds, I think we'll be good.
Thank you so much, Coach. Best
Yes,
of luck.
sir. Thank you.
Coach Lou there with Carlo Jimenez pregame as we're just about 45 minutes away from tip-off in Houston. Clippers taking on the Rockets in an in-season tournament matchup. If you're into that sort of thing, we're trying to get into it. It's the first one for the Clippers so far this season. When you see the red court, you will know the distinction. Oh, this is a tournament cup game, a little bit different. Coming up next, we're going back in time in Clippers Rewind right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Group A of the in-season tournament starts tonight in Houston for your Los Angeles Clippers as they take on the Rockets. Second time in 3 days. They would lose 111 to 103 in a non-in-season tournament game on Wednesday night. Remember, these games also count in the regular season standings. Same thing, except for the championship game. That basically didn't happen. They don't account for those stats. They don't track those. You know, they don't factor into your season averages or anything like that. It's a one-off, but long ways before we get to that championship game in Vegas. Tonight, though, game 1 for the Clippers in the in-season tournament. I'm Adam Oslin. Welcome back in. This is Clippers Countdown. Coming up, we will get to your player to watch, but first, we're going back in time in Clippers Rewind, almost 7 years here to December 22nd of 2017. Biggest movies out were Star Wars Episode 8. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Biggest song on the radio was Post Malone's Rockstar. Okay, I like it. And certainly the leader of the band that season for the Clippers was Sweet Lou Williams. But a lesser known member was Jawan Evans, who would make a big impact too in a Clippers' unlikely victory in Houston over James Harden and the Rockets.
Lou Williams got the center court logo. Dances around, gets a screen from Evans with 6 to shoot. Going to have to don a cape and get something here. On the left wing, fires a 3, and it's good! 122 to 113. Lou Williams strikes again. Back the other way, Harden runs over Evans. The whistle, offensive foul. Doc Rivers is leading the charge, pumping his fist with 1:31 to play. 122 to 113. The Clippers with their hands on the wheel here at Toyota Center.
That was a fun one. Jawan Evans, defensive stopper. He drew multiple offensive fouls late on James Harden. Lou Williams had 32. Austin Rivers had 36. And the Clippers would upset the Rockets 128 to 118. It was the start of a new era of Clippers basketball without Blake Griffin or CP3. That scrappy bunch during the 2017-2018 year, they went 42 and 40. Might be reminiscent of this year's squad in some ways. Now with James Harden on the Clippers. Isn't that ironic? Don't you think? It's like Clippers taking on the Rockets tonight. Tip off just about 40 minutes away. Coming up next, your player to watch right here on Clippers Countdown on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Houston taking on the Rockets. Tip-off is just about 37 minutes away. I'm Adam Oslin. Coming up, we'll have La Murray on from The Athletic. But first...
This is LA Clippers basketball.
Watching this guy play right now is really something.
Players to watch.
I'm going with Big Zoo, Ivica Zubac. Get him involved early and often. Not enough touches Wednesday night against the Houston Rockets. In fact, he only got up 8 shots. Had 8 and 6 in 27 minutes, but has to do his own part, which is grab boards, play physical, bring that physicality. He's averaging 16 and 12 on the season for a reason. Now, he does have a size advantage over Şengün of the Rockets, and he held him in check. But if they go smaller, Big Zoo must punish this athletic but smaller Houston Rockets team when he's out there. Come on, Big Zoo. Player to watch. Coming up next, injury report, then La Murray of The Athletic right here on Clippers Countdown on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and Houston Rockets from Houston. It's an in-season tournament cup game. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Moslin. This is the official pregame show of your Los Angeles Clippers. It's Clippers Countdown. Still to come, we got La Murray of The Athletic coming on in the very next segment. But first, let's get to your Prize Picks injury report. Remember, with Prize Picks, you download the app today, and if you use code KLAC to get $50 instantly, you will get that after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. So, with the Houston Rockets, still no Steven Adams for them. Obviously, he's coming back from a knee injury that kept him out pretty much all of last season, back when he was a Memphis Grizzly at that time. I had a Charles Barkley moment there for a second. I do think this Clippers team has a size advantage with Ivica Zubac still. The problem is that athletic advantage goes to the Houston Rockets. So who's going to win the battle of the boards right now? Clippers are healthy, of course. Still no Kawhi Leonard, no Mo Bamba, but Mo Bamba is playing right now in the G League. So I expect him back next week, maybe on Sunday, for the Clippers when they return home for a back-to-back, their fourth so far already of this young season. But Houston still without Steven Adams is a big blow, especially when it comes to that rebounding department. So there's no excuses for this Clippers team. They got to crash the glass tonight. Clippers, Houston Rockets, tipping off just 32 minutes from now in Houston. Coming up next, we got La Murray of The Athletic right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and Rockets from Houston. Tip-off just 30 minutes away here on Clippers Countdown. It's an in-season tournament cup game, the Emirates Cup. Remember, your pregame show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code KLAC to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Now join the show from Houston, from Toyota Center, would be our friend La Murray of The Athletic. La, how we doing? How was the layover?
You know, really glad to have yesterday to just not do anything. So I'm going to expect different energy in tonight's game compared to what we saw Wednesday.
Big rebounding energy is needed from this Clippers team. Do you see any lineup changes? People have talked about Kai Jones not playing the last game. Could he get out there? He's a good athlete. Could he get them some boards? Or is Kobe Brown going to get more run like we saw at the end of the fourth quarter?
I tried. That's all I'm going to say about that. I would expect to just see anybody possible. There's a reason for all the players that aren't in the starting lineup to get run, all 8 of those guys. So I know that's a lot that we'll see Terrence Mann and Amir Coffey, and but besides that, we just have to see. So it's the same starting lineups that you saw Wednesday night. Get used to that starting lineup, and as far as the bench, I think the bench is unsettled. I think that's something that we talked about going into Wednesday's game. I think the starting lineup is going to be solid, and how the second unit was going to be, that was going to be an open question. Well, it was a big fail Wednesday night, and there's no way that you're going to see the same rotation tonight, I don't think.
How did you view that fourth quarter? They're down 10. We see Jordan Miller in there. Eventually, Bones Highland, Kobe Brown get in there next to Terrence Mann and Amir Coffey. Was that Coach Lou just looking for energy or sending a message to the starters? Because that was the first game, I'd say, where they got outworked at times.
Yeah, I think that it's a bit of both. Obviously, it's not the starting 5 was really good, but there were guys on the bench, they just didn't play well, and you kind of saw that. I mean, Kevin Porter Jr. didn't play after the first quarter. Nicola Batum, I think that just about every lineup that he was in got outscored. Didn't matter if he was playing with Ivica Zubac as the power forward or as the center with Ivica Zubac off the floor. It was a rough game, and you saw it. It wasn't just like the plus minus. It's like not.
Yeah.
You saw like Tari Eason and Amen Thompson were kind of running circles around Nico. So they need Nico, but Nico's got to be better. Obviously, Amir Coffey is going to play. He's shooting the ball incredibly well. I have no idea who's going to be after that. But we've seen, Adam, so many games where people will be like, oh, the game is over. And Teron Lue is like, nah, it's not over. We just need to get some different energy in there. And those guys get a chance to actually win the game. Like, I saw so many people, not so many. I'm not going to give you all that kind of energy. But I saw some mentions about, like they punted the game. That's not what the Clippers do. You know what I mean? Like Toronto, and I can reference multiple specific games, like the Atlanta Hawks game from 2021, where Terrence Mann and Luke Kennard were wearing those absolutely disgusting gray jerseys, and they had that epic comeback. The Detroit Pistons game right after Christmas of 2022, where it was quote-unquote garbage time, 3 minutes left. They were down like 15, and they force overtime, and they win that game. So we've seen instances where guys who hadn't get a chance to show that they can make a run, kind of like a sneak attack almost, and they do it. Whether that makes an impact on tonight's rotation is what I'm looking to see.
So you mentioned the starters. They went plus 15 in 17 minutes. What's the difference with Chris Dunn in there in the backcourt next to James Harden?
Well, I'll tell you what, yesterday or Wednesday's game, that was the first time all season that James Harden didn't have multiple turnovers. The first time all season. That's a huge statistic. And let me tell you, James Harden had, I think, 22 games last season where he had games where he didn't have multiple turnovers, either 0 turnovers or 1. It's not like James is incapable of taking care of the basketball. It's just that we've seen the absolute vomitorium that is his turnovers appear way too much this season. And so what Chris Dunn gives you is a guy who is a capable ball handler, passer, playmaker, who can take the pressure off of James. And so that's pretty, that's really the biggest thing there is offensively, you just have that comfort of having multiple ball handlers, which is this team's biggest weakness right now. And then on the defensive end, you know that Chris Dunn is going to get down and defend. So, now the flip side is, can that group rebound? And can the Clippers rebound against this specific Houston Rockets team? But the starting lineup, it was a success yesterday. The bench lineups, not so much.
So I've been looking at some of the numbers. And if you take out second quarters and those 6.5 minutes that James Harden averages there, he's shooting 45% from the field and 35% from three, basically his career averages. He is 7 for 44 in second quarters shooting-wise, Law. What's your best guess to why that is?
Honestly, it feels a little fluky, to be honest with you. But I think it also has to do with you get a little tired and you're playing a different style of basketball at the end of that first half. And I feel like maybe he gets back into the game and he doesn't have the same rhythm. He's not playing with the same group of guys. But a lot of it would just be me making excuses for him. I think James just has to play better, simple as that. And, I mean, that's a guess for me. I'm almost certain James isn't going to have a whole lot more to say about it either. Like, that's just how I just wouldn't expect that from James. I
Yeah.
think it's just got to be, hey, look, crazy numbers, whatever. Let's see what happens tonight. Let's see what happens over the balance of the season.
Yeah, I guess my point is there's a quick fix to him and his efficiency. It's just shooting better in second quarter. 7 for 44 is an incredibly low number, especially for somebody like James Harden. That would raise his averages and his efficiency. Now, this Clippers team, I always feel like they're at their best when they're getting Ivica Zubac involved early and often. I didn't see enough of that. Now, they were hot from 3 to start that game on Wednesday night. I get it. But at some point, to me, you got to get Big Zoo going, because you talked with Coach Lou postgame and pointed out how all their second chance points came in that fourth quarter. I mean, they were getting out rebounded when they were playing big. They actually were better when they went small. It's unorthodox. It's counterintuitive, but that's kind of what happened on Wednesday.
That's his whole team, though. Like, the team is relative. Like, T. Lou brought that up pregame today. Like, he's actually surprised about how well over the course of the season that the team has been on the defensive glass. He referred to his lineup as 4 guys under 6'6", which I think Derrick Jones Jr. would take umbrage with that. He believes he's 6'7", but I digress. The fact of the matter is, anytime T. Lou goes small, like extremely small, I feel like people will be like, oh, T. Lou likes small ball too much. It's like, first of all, it's basketball in the year 2024. We got to evolve how we're thinking about these things. That's number one. Number two, if you're not rebounding that well big, you're clearly not having the advantage that you're looking for. So you're going to play a different way. And it's to say, if you're going to lose the glass anyway, let's see where we can get some advantages. And they went a bit too small to start the fourth quarter. Once they put Kobe Brown in, Terrence Mann was a dynamo in that fourth quarter. He was the player that can do everything that, you hope to see when he was starting, but now you hope to see a lot more as a second unit guy. He was so engaged. I mean, I think he blocked Şengün's turnaround fade one time. Like, he played like his hair was on fire, and that's the kind of energy that they need from him when he gets into games. That's the thing. Like, tonight, it's going to be about hitting guys, whether Zoo's in there or not. And Zoo played his role pretty well on the other end of the floor. Şengün had a very inefficient night Wednesday. I think that's important. But the success of the Clippers is going to have to be take care of the basketball, get to the free throw line. This is an incredibly foul-heavy Houston Rockets defense, but that might be their only weakness. They're incredibly physical. They play off of this crowd, and when AT&T comes into the game, Men Thompson and Tari, the game changes. Those guys fly around. I think you have to use those guys' aggression against them.
So this is the first in-season tournament game for the Clippers. It's now called the Emirates NBA Cup. Are you feeling any momentum for the in-season tournament that you didn't see last season? Do players care more about this? Is there a different energy?
I talked to Terrence Mann after Wednesday's game, and he made it very clear that they want to win this NBA Cup. This is not a gimmick to those guys. They do care. They have been talking about it. The coaching staff, they know about it. They talk about it. Tyronn Lue said before the game that everything Adam Silver touches the gold. And so this is a big game. I thought the other reason that you saw, the lineups that you did in the fourth quarter was because T. Lue knew he had us play these guys again, and he wanted to see extra guys. It's almost like a feel-out game or a preseason game. Obviously, you don't want to lose it, and that's the thing. It's like you put guys into the game so that they can play well and so that your team can win the game, steal the game somehow. Like, I think people have to understand that. Everyone's like, your stars aren't in, or, oh, the guys who actually cut the lead down, get those guys out the game and put the guys in that were, struggling. Like, nah, man. Like, there's a process to this. So Wednesday obviously was not a great night for the Clippers, but there were some positive takeaways, some silver linings, and if there's some carryover into the things that they need to do correctly. And keep in mind, the Rockets also had 2 nights off. They had a rest advantage. They were at home. Again, they had energy. Guys came into the game. The Rockets were down 11 in the first quarter. By the end of the first quarter, it was tied. So I don't expect the same level of energy. I think things will be a lot closer tonight, and I think that the Clippers will play smarter, play better. Whether that means they'll win the game, Hit me in 3 hours.
And maybe the Houston Rockets won't knock down 38% of the three-point
That
shots.
too. This is the second worst shooting team
Yep.
in basketball. That wasn't the case Wednesday night.
He is La Murray. For more of this great analysis, you got to subscribe to The Athletic. Follow him at La Murray, the NU on X. La, thanks for doing this, all 3 games on this road trip. Be good to see you back at Into a Dome on Sunday, my friend.
All right, thank you. Enjoy the games.
Coming up next, we'll get to an NBA out-of-town scoreboard. Clippers taking on the Houston Rockets in the Emirates Cup Group A play. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Houston taking on the Rockets. Tip-off is just about 15 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. Coming up, we'll get back to Carlo Jimenez. But first, let's get to your drive around the league. Brought to you by Toyota's electrified lineup, including hybrids, plug-in hybrids, all electrics, and even fuel cell electric vehicles. So you can choose exactly the type you need for your lifestyle. We make it easy. Game's just tipping off. Early second quarter in Indianapolis. The Pacers are trailing the Heat 35-32. Halliburton, though, has a quick 8 points. 9 minutes left in the second quarter there. 9 minutes left in the second quarter in Orlando. 76ers up 29-24. Joel Embiid is back. He's got 12 points already in that one. Franz Wagner with 10 points for the Magic. And one more second quarter score for you with 10 minutes left. Pistons up 37-30 in Toronto. Hey, Tobias Harris got a quick 5 points there, and they lead by 7 early in the second quarter. Pistons over the Raptors. Coming up a little bit later tonight, the OKC Thunder will be hosting the Phoenix Suns. Golden State Warriors, who the Clippers will see on Monday at Intuit Dome, will be hosting the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Kings taking on the Timberwolves in Sacktown. Good slate of games in the association tonight, like this one. Clippers in Houston taking on the Rockets. Tip-off coming up next. Plus, we got Carlo Jimenez right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Just like that. Clippers in Houston, in H-Town, taking on the Rockets. Tip off just about 12 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. Coming up, we'll get your keys to victory, but first, back out to Toyota Center with your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez. So, Carlo, it's counterintuitive, but the Clippers actually rebounded better and had the only second chance points of the ball game in the fourth quarter when they went small. Are we going to see more of those small ball lineups? I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but Kobe Brown maybe getting some more run. They talked about him playing small ball 5 during training camp. Could that be coming to fruition?
You know, Adam, I don't think that is something that is off the table right now for this Clipper team. This is a possibility, I would imagine, and just me thinking, they're going to try to feed Ivica Zubac a lot early in this game. And if that doesn't work, then we might not see him the rest of the game. I think the Clippers want to get Zubac involved early, and hopefully they can find a way to do that. But don't be surprised. If things go south quick, Ty Lue is going to make the switch to going small even sooner.
So there was this brilliant guy out there that was pointing out that James Harden outside of the second quarter is basically shooting his career averages, 45% from the field, 35% from the three-point line.
You know, remember that guy? I thought I saw something about that.
Madam Cosland or something like that.
Adam Osland.
So I did check on these numbers a little bit earlier. Carlo, he is 7 for 44 in second quarters, and I'm trying to feel different opinions on why he's shooting that poorly in second quarters, because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be talking about this low efficiency from him so far this season.
Yeah, look, he wears number 1, and second obviously always brags that second is the best. So Harden just has this vendetta against the number 2. So the second quarters, he's just not. No, I don't know. I think for this Clipper team, just finding a way to get him easier looks in that second quarter. Often when he comes in that second, Adam, you feel like the Clippers need a little bit of a boost offensively just because the second unit off the bench sometimes struggles to have an offensive flow. So James Harden feels like he's got to climb a hill coming into this game. I think if the Clippers can get more consistent scoring with that second unit, it will almost make it easier for James Harden on the offensive end, in especially second quarters. You get the adrenaline boost in the fourth. The third quarter is right after halftime. So I understand second quarter. It's kind of like the Tuesday of the week, Adam. It's like, I don't have any feelings about it. It's Tuesday. That may be why James Harden is struggling in second quarter.
That's what I'm going to say. When somebody asks me how I'm doing next Tuesday, I'm going to be like, I don't know. I'm feeling like 7 for 44. That's basically how I'm doing right now. So I did love the adjustment. We talked about it, but Chris Dunn in the starting lineup worked magnificently, and it takes some of the ball handling pressure off of James Harden. We've talked about this coming into the season. They can't wear him out early. He can't be overtaxed in that area. The best way to do so is to have another guy who can bring the ball up the floor and who's very adept at it, like Chris Dunn.
Yeah, Chris Dunn's got 16 assists and 1 turnover in the last 2 games. He has been excellent taking care of the basketball. Look, this is a guy who at Providence, now here's a guy at Providence who was scoring the basketball at a high rate. Everybody in the locker room talks about how good he is on the offensive end, but he's used to having the ball in his hands. He's had the ball in his hands his entire career. In fact, in high school, Adam, he played quarterback. He had the ball in his hands all the time. He is used to having the ball in his hands, and that has helped this Clipper team a lot on the offensive end, throwing dimes like he's a QB to get guys involved.
So my player to watch in this one, Big Zoo, Ivica Zubac. I do feel like you mentioned, they're going to try to get him involved early on, get him some touches. I always say 3 out of the first 5 possessions, they should get him the basketball, because if you get him going, it just feels like the Clippers find their identity. Who do you got as your player to watch tonight, Carlo?
I'm going backup big man, even though he's really a guard. Nico Batum maybe had his first not great game of the season on Wednesday, which is hard to say for Nico Batum because he does so many things well. He unlocks that second unit sometimes, and that first unit, if they can play small ball with him at the 5. I think if Nico has a big game for this Clipper team, they're going to have success and come away with a victory.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is so rare. It's once in a blue moon. It's Haley's Comet whenever Nicholas Batum does not have a good ball game. He was a -22. It didn't feel that bad, but he missed some good looks from distance during a time where the Houston Rockets were starting to put it on the Clippers a little bit. Somebody else we've talked about a lot coming into this season finally got some run early in that fourth quarter. They're down by 10. Coach Lue went with Jordan Miller. And I thought he acquitted himself very well. Had 8 points in 8 minutes, had a three-pointer, bully ball on Fred VanVleet, tough and one. You saw the makings of basically what we've been talking about with a contributing role player and a guy who's going to turn 25 by the end of this season. It seemed like the moment was not too big for Jordan Miller once again.
No, he looked comfortable. He looked like he was in his bag. And I think that's why, to all of our surprise, that was a career high in points. He had 8 points. It was an NBA career high. But this is someone who scored 40 in the G League. He's been so good on the offensive end. Don't be surprised if, Adam, we see a first half Jordan Miller signing. I just think it's coming at some point this season. The Clippers need a little bit of youth and energy into that second unit. It might not be the full minutes for Kevin Porter Jr., but I think some of those Kevin Porter Jr. minutes, maybe even Nico Batum minutes, if he struggles once again, are going to Jordan Miller because of his ability to get downhill, to make the right play. And as Ty Lue talked about, he makes quick decisions on the offensive end. He keeps the ball moving, and that's what the Clippers need to do against a Houston defense that's top 5 in the NBA.
Somebody else who could see their minutes lessened. I was a little bit surprised that Kevin Porter Jr. only got 6 minutes on Wednesday night, didn't play in the second half. Is that a sign that Coach Lue just has a shorter leash on everybody right now, and he's trying out more of these bench players? So if you don't have it that night, he's going to push a different button and call for somebody else.
Yeah, 10-game sample sizes I don't think exist anymore, Adam. I think we're talking 5-6 games now. When you think about how quickly he changed the starting lineup and how much he stayed on that same starting lineup a season ago, and then you look at him bringing in Jordan Miller to start the fourth quarter, I don't think we see that last year with Ty Lue. He took a lot more time to make calls, and rightfully so. The Clippers were bringing in James Harden. They were trying to figure out how you play with 4 Hall of Famers who are all used to having the ball. This is a different year. This is a team that plays with grit. They're going to grind them out. They're going to get in a lot of close games late, and they need to win as many possessions as possible. So I think for the Clippers, key thing here, nobody has a job locked in with that second unit, something we talked about earlier. I don't know if KPJ's minutes are dwindling away. He played excellent coming up before that Wednesday game. He was averaging 12 points a game on 50% from the field. He was playing his best Clipper basketball on the offensive end. Maybe more of a matchup thing, the reason why he didn't play a lot Wednesday. This is a Houston team that's got a lot of youth. So I'm not sure, Adam, but what I am sure is no one's job is locked and sealed so far.
Let's get a little hot in here. Carlo Jimenez is on the call. Tip-off is just moments away. Clippers in Houston taking on the Rockets. Coming up next, we'll get to your keys to victory right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Houston for some Emirates Cup action. The in-season tournament is underway. Clippers' first game in Group A. Tip-off is just minutes away. First, though, let's get to your keys to victory. We've been talking about it. We've been belaboring the point because, well, it's important. They have to crash the glass. You can't give up 18 offensive rebounds. We know Houston's great in that area. I think they're number one in offensive rebounding percentage right now. Clippers just have to at least compete in that area. They can't get beat by 17 on the boards like they did Wednesday night against the same Houston Rockets team. Get after it, and that means get it going with Big Zoo. If he's competing and playing well on the offensive end, he's going to stay in the ball game, and therefore he's going to help you out more on the defensive end and closing out possessions with those defensive rebounds. Big Zoo, my player to watch, my key to the ball game. Please grab some boards. Here we go. It's Carlo Jimenez on the call. Clippers and Rockets from Toyota Center in Houston. It's the Emirates Cup, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network.